Well, what we did here is I put a big wad of cotton padding in this corner, and across the top of the back of the seat. Okay? I also put cotton padding in the wings of the seat back. I didn't glue it, but that's just laid in there because, going back to episode 1, when I took the seat back off, it had padding in the wings. The new seat did not. Let's see how this is going to work out. So as I said, we're doing this together for the first time. And I don't know what's going to happen, so let's find out. I'm going to hold this wadding in place and pull my felt down over it to hold it. There we go. Okay. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet, but for now, that's going to stay right there. Now let's see if I can get this on here without losing too much of this, of the cotton wadding that's in position. Okay, looking in here, that seems to be where I wanted it to be. I don't know if that's where it's supposed to be, but it's where I wanted it to be. We'll look over here, and that all seems to be in the proper position. Now let me position this way. I'm going to do that by using these corners. So they're right about there, and this is okay, and this is okay, and this is okay, and this is okay, and this, we can see, is right about here. Okay, put that under. Now this looks a lot poofier, but we have to stretch it now and see what happens. Moving along with the project, here's where we're at. You know, I'm sitting here massaging this over and over again, and it takes a while, so I figured I'd just do that off camera and then show you what I accomplished. I have a little tack here holding the center where I think it goes. I got a clamp here holding this where I think it goes. I got my spring retained. I got a tack here pulling the bottom in to where I think it goes. I got a vice grip here holding the bottom in to where I think it goes. And then we're going to come around to the front and examine it. There we go. Well, this side of the seat looks pretty good. And as we feel it, oh, there's padding back there. And there's no wrinkles. And the sides will fit. And the piping seems to be in about the right place. This part over here sucks. Okay? So I was looking at it going, well, why does half work and half not? So I'm looking at it, and I know I'm not holding the camera here, but the pleats are this way. So I think that the top of that seat has to go that way. So what I'm going to do is take out my tacks and release my clamps and reposition the covering to see if I can get this wrinkle out. And also up here, there isn't anything back there. So this has to go this way. Let's see what happens next. Ooh, I'm so excited. Well, that looks like a lot of wadding, but I put it where I felt that where we needed more padding to bring up the seat so it would stretch better. Okay, I'm going to put the felt back over it. Using my whole arm here, to hold this in place like that. Let's see what happens. It looks like a lot, but I'm kind of hoping that when we stretch the leather, we'll compress it, and it'll be a nice poofy, cushy seat. Okay, we got these in the right place. We'll do our tuck. And let's work this a while and see what happens. So I worked this a while, like about 2 hours, and I think I got it pretty good. I didn't move the foam around too much, but some of the things I did was I had to move it left and right and twist it and turn it to get the corners to match up. And I still got some wrinkles here. I think I'll take those out when it stretches and I do the final tacking. So I checked, and it feels pretty good right here. So now we're going to, if I turn it around here, we're going to get our tacks out. Yes, you can't have too many vice grips if you own a British car. But don't worry, because this is a 54, I used Whitworth vice grips. I used a couple of tacks here in the top to hold it, and then as I was working it to try to get it into position, I would clamp and unclamp the leather instead of putting a lot of holes in here with tacks. So now I think it's pretty close. I'm going to start tacking. Well, here we are. There is the seat back in place. We'll take a walk around here. Look at the business end. And there's our little tacks in the bottom. Up the side, around the corner, across the back. And didn't do a very good job there, but it's going to look okay once the seat back goes on. That's our next and final step, is putting the back on this seat. So there's our seat back. Woohoo! Not too bad. Well, I guess it's not the final step, the seat back, because after we put the seat back on, then we have to put the cushion in. Here's the back of the seat. Here is the seat back. That is going to go like this. So this has to bend around. And as you can see, it's flat. And I'm concerned a little bit about the springiness, that maybe the tacks are going to hold it, and maybe they need a little help. So let me come up with an idea here to try to take some of the springiness out of the seat back. Here's the seat back, right? We're going to try to take some of the springiness out, so when we nail it in, there won't be so much stress on the tacks. How are we going to do that? Notice the iron sitting next to me? Well, it's a steam iron. Let's pull up for steam, maybe. We're going to steam it. There we go. This will also take the wrinkles out of your dress shirt. Now I'm going to get this tie down and slide it under the seat back and do one of these. Whoosh. We'll let that dry. While the seat back is drying, I wanted to make a comment about the tacks. And that is, a lot of people would ask me, why didn't you use staples and just go bip, 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 staple all the leather on? And the answer is, they didn't use staples at Abington. So I pulled tacks out, I'll put tacks back. Well, this has had a chance to dry out. Let's take our band off here and see how we did. There you go. It's got a nice little bow in it. Let's see how this fits on the back of the seat. We'll take our seat, put it like this and see how this is going to go. Oh, look at that. Not too bad. Now we have to tack it to the back of the seat. Okay, so to attach the seat back to the seat, we need our little tacks. Okay, when you look at the seam here on the piping, this seam attaches the piping to the seat back. This seam here is the roll on the piping. We want to push these in between. So what you have to do is pull this up, right? Find the seam or the stitching and push it through with your finger, maybe. And then what I'm going to do is after I push it through, I'm going to grab it with my pliers and pull it up like that, okay? Then when we put it on the seat, I'll put a hammer here and hit it with another hammer to drive the tacks into the wood behind the seat. I'll show you that one more time. And I put them about an inch apart. So right there, I'm going to pull this up like that. Get my tack, push it through, which is like not that easy. And then I'm going to get my pliers and pull it out. Okay, now we're going to do that all the way around the seat. It's going to take a while. Come back when I'm done. So quite some time later, we have all the tacks pushed through the seat back. And yes, my fingers are purple. But there we go. There's all the tacks running through the seat. We're going to nail this to the back. That's the next thing we're going to do. We have, be careful handling this too, because these are sharp. We have the nails in the back. This is going to go on the back of the seat. The hard part here is getting it square and getting it lined up, because once you start putting those nails in, well, let's just say you don't want to do this twice. Okay, so you just have to make sure that it's in the right place before you start pounding. So what I did is I have this giving me some height here so I can see where the top goes. That's what everyone is going to see, right? So I think that this piping should just overlap the top of the back of the seat like that. Over here, like that. Make sure the little transmission hump thing lines up. And that feels okay. One more thing to check. The seat backs fold over. This feels to me like it has to come this way just a little bit. Okay, so we'll line this up and then we're going to start pounding in nails. So I think I've got this lined up where it's going to be. So now we have to get the nails in. You probably can't see in here, but what I got to do, let me get my flashlight and I'll show you. What I'm going to do is, you see the nails in there? See, they're all twisted every which way, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the nail, line it up straight, and then tap it in. And I'm going to try to tap them all just a little bit to get them lined up. And then if it looks good, we'll drive them in all the way. I'm going to hold that nail like that and just gently tap it. Grab the next one, straight, and tap it, etc., etc., etc. I'm going to do that all the way around here. We'll see how it comes out. Well, I was trying to fit that on the back of the seat, and I came to a conclusion. I made an executive decision. On the old seat back, the tacks came through here, okay? Which is where I put all these through. When I would attach this to the seat like this, I can see the tacks. We can't see the tacks when the seat is done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull all of these tacks out. Yay! And then I'm gonna put them here on the inside of the inside seam. This is gonna take a while. See you in a bit. I moved all the tacks to the inside of the seam. And my fingers are still purple. Let's see how this fits. I use the needle nose pliers to hold the tacks straight up and down so they're not crooked. And then I just tap them in gently with the little hammer. Okay, now I'm gonna put them in all the way down. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this piece of wood and this manly hammer. Okay, so we'll start right here at the corner. Okay, and here, and here. Okay, I'll do that all the way around. We nailed the tail of the seat back down. We have these in place. Here's the seat back. Okay, let's stand it up and take another look. And there you have the seat back. Little maybe rough on the corners. The top looks fine. Let's put the cushion in. We've got the seat back on. 3 more pieces to go. Don't go away. We have the rails that go under the seat. And of course, we have the seat cushion. So let's get these installed and call this a done thing. With the seat laying on its side, I pushed the cushion in until the holes in here line up. There's 1, 2, 3, and of course the 4th one is up here. The rail will go on like this. So let's get the screws ready and put the rails on. As I'm putting the rails on the bottom, note this little piece of wood here. Okay, there's one there, and there's one there, right? They were on the old seat. So I just took them off the old seat, put them on the new one, and they act as a spacer to make up for the thickness of the metal. So here we have our 2 seats for our MGTF. They're complete. I wonder if they're comfortable to sit in. It certainly is a comfy seat, but you know, like I said in the beginning of this series, this video is not so much intended on how to show you to put a seat together as it is to, ooh, look at all the mistakes I made. Don't make the same ones, okay? So what I did is I compiled the list of the mistakes that I wish I could do over, and I probably will end up taking this seat apart again and trying to redo it because I just don't like the way it came out. First thing, when I made the wooden bottom for the cushion, I lined it up pretty much the same size as the old one, and as it turned out, it was just a little bit wider. So it was very hard to slide it into the seat bucket. So if you make a new wooden bottom for the cushion, err on the side of too narrow because it's still going to fit in there. It'll center itself on the bolt holes, and mine was too wide. So don't make it too wide. If anything, make it just a little bit narrower, about the width of a saw blade narrower. Okay. on the seat that I'm sitting in, which is of course the passenger seat, there's too much stuffing in the back. As I compare it to the driver's seat, it just doesn't look the same. It's poofier. And that could be remedied by the next thing that I made a mistake on, where the seat back goes in the bottom there, and then you stretch it around and tack it. Stretch it a lot. This one could be farther in. The one I'm sitting on should be a lot farther in. So I'm probably going to redo that. And then finally, as you're assembling the seat, you're trying to figure out where that seat back goes. I don't know why I didn't think of this. Put the cushion in and line up the pleats. That's pretty much where it's going to go. Everything else is just a matter of stretching it in place. Put the cushion in, line up the pleats. That's where the seat back will go. So, all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the series. The next thing I'm going to try to do is assemble the 1954 MGTF. It's in paint right now, and the entire body is off the chassis. I did put the shell back on the chassis and send it off to paint that way, but all the fenders and all the hood and all that stuff is painted separately. So maybe I'll try to do a video of assembling the car. That ought to be interesting. Anyway, that's it. I'm Robert, and this is my British Cars and Stuff. Thank you for watching.